Hope you're doing well. Today I like to make a video and show you how I make my regular pleated mask. And from this version, I will also show you how to extend it and make it into like a sort of a combo mask with nose guard. So this is the style I started to make in the beginning, like around maybe April, or when I started to make masks for donation. It's basically just a regular pleated mask, but most pleated masks I see out there, people usually sew their elastic directly into the mask, and I like to have option just in case if the elastic got broken or it's not long enough or short enough for people. So I decided to use tabs instead of directly sew the elastic into the mask. I put 4 little tabs at the corner and just thread the elastic through this little loops and then tie slip knots to make them adjustable. So that's something different from most of the pleated masks out there. And again, it's the same. It can be constructed with just one piece of fabric with a filter pocket opening toward the chin. And in the past, I would add a nose wire over here, but I've since find out if you do 2 darts at the nose and at the chin, this actually fits the face pretty well, and in most cases you probably won't need a piece of metal in here. You can certainly still do that. You can sew a nose wire here and just don't do the pleats, so you have the option. So let's just go through the material first. For the fabric to make just the pleated mask without the nose guard, I cut my fabric at 8 by 17. So this side is 8 and the length is 17 inches long, and fold it in half. And if you're making the pleated mask with the nose guard, I will cut the fabric a little longer to make it 8 by 19. It's out of the frame, but you can tell, just a little bit longer. Okay, so let's put this one aside. So if you measure from the bottom toward this point is 8 inches, like 8 inches like here. So that makes this a square. So you make a mark at 8 inches and then 2 inches from the side. So make a line here, and the same thing, 2 inches from the edge, like here, and just stitch it from here to here and skip this point, skip this area, and then stitch again from this point to this point. That will give you the filter pocket opening. And after that, as usual, if you've watched my other video, I like to trim the raw edge using pinking shears just to make it look prettier, and also it won't fray as much later when you wash your mask in the washing machine. And skip this area and then start again over here. This, and then trim the raw edge using pinking shears. Good. this way, and it will prevent the raw edge from fraying too much when it's being washed in the washing machine. A little bit over here. Okay. So now it looks like this. The opening here. We want to press open the seam. So this is what I do, and usually I just use my fingernail to press it open, but I also found out my mouse, it's a good tool, so I've been using it. I'm not really using this for work anyway because I use my graphic tablet, so I just put the mouse to use to press the fabric open. It's pretty handy. So I press it open like this. And the next step would be to stitch the line, like stitch one line over here and then stitch another line over here. So that would keep the two layers of fabric together. But be careful when you do that. You just want to stitch this two layer and not the back fabric. So just sew slowly as you go and pull away the bottom layer as you sew, and just take your time when you do that. Okay. Next step would be you want to position the pocket opening about 1 inch from the bottom, like right here. So this is gonna be toward your chin, and this is gonna be toward your nose. So we still have the mask on the wrong side out right now. So earlier I forgot to mention this is one of the material we will need. I used the twill tape. But if you don't have twill tape, you can use a bias tape or make your own bias tape or a piece of ribbon, however you want. So I cut a piece of twill tape about 6 inches, and we'll be making the 4 little tabs for the corner. So 6 inches, then we fold it in half. Try my scissor here and just make one cut first. You fold it in half and make another cut. Oh, I need to sharpen it up. Okay. Little pieces like this. So what you want to do next is fold each piece in half and just tucked at the corner, like this. You can see toward the opening, but this will be in between the 2 layers of fabric. So like right against the edge of the fabric. So you do that one, and then you stitch along this edge about like a 1/4 inch, your seam allowance. And then when you almost hit this area but not quite, do the same thing for this tab, tuck it in and finish sewing it shut. And do the same thing for this side. Again, fold it in half, the opening facing the opening of the fabric of the mask, and just tuck it in this position and stitch, and then do this one again on this corner. So I move on to the sewing machine. Fold it in half, the opening and the opening of the mask facing the same direction, and just tuck it in between the two panels toward the top. Make sure the edges line up, and we just sew it. I usually like to go back and forth a couple of times on top of the little tabs, just make it really secure. Seam allowance is about 1/4 inch. So as you approach the end of the mask, insert another tab toward the bottom. Same thing, opening and opening facing the same direction. Tuck it in. Use your finger to make sure it's in the right spot. And just go back and forth a couple times on top of the twill tape. Okay, we're done. It looks like these. Down it for the other side. Okay, then we'll move on to the next step. Right now, we just stitch both sides, and right now every step is the same for both masks. It's just one is a little longer because we have a nose guard and this little area that we stitch it up, so we lose a little bit inches over here. So other than that, it's exactly the same so far. Okay, so move them aside. Let's take care of the basic pleated mask first. So the next step is from this pocket opening, we will turn the mask right side out. And because we have these little tabs at each corner, it makes it really easy. Just find those tabs and just pull on them, and it will make the corner really crisp. This. Right now, so this is gonna be for your, this area is gonna be for your chin, and the nose is gonna go here. So you turn to the front, and then we'll make the pleats. So what I usually do in the easy way is just fold this mask in half with the back side, two back side, and fold it in half. And you can press by hand or use your iron to press it, make a line, and then you fold it from top. Oh, you open it up and fold it toward the line you just made. Press it again, and do the same. Fold it down and press it again. So on the front, you should have 3 lines like these, and you just make your pleat. I usually just eyeball it and make sure it's even. And when I measure the height of my mask, it's usually around like 3 or 3¼ and that's good. And you just clip them and then, or pen, however you want, and then we will just stitch it up over here and stitch it up over here. So it's pretty basic, like how you usually will make your pleated mask for this one. Okay, let me just pin this really, clip this really quick then, since we already have this pleat. These, and just kind of pretty, make sure they are square. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside. So just stitch it up, and then that's it. And for the one with the nose guard, it's gonna look like this when it's open. We turn the mask again right side out. This side. Okay. So remember, this is the opening is toward the bottom. So hopefully you can see. So with the back side facing you, and make sure the opening is at the bottom. So we're gonna be folding the nose guard. So you fold the top down, and we want to make sure like 2 inches. So this flat, this panel is gonna be 2 inches. So like over here, yep, it's about right. And then you just top stitch along the edge with the seam allowance about 1/4 inch, like over here. I'm not gonna put in any nose wire for this mask, but if you wanted putting any nose wire, you do that first. You would just insert your nose wire and then just sew around it to secure it. But I find out with this style, I don't really need one. It still hug around my face pretty well. So I'm gonna bypass that step. If you feel like you have the need, just go ahead and do it. So you put in the nose wire if you want, and then we top stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance along this edge. Let's just do it really quick right here. It looks like this. Right now, the front side look like this. So, and then the next step, fold this little panel we just created toward the top and line up the both edges, and we just clip them to keep that position. Actually move the clip toward the middle a little bit because we will be stitching on the side. So then this is the front, same thing as we just did. You just create a pleat now. So folded mask, backside to backside, in half, and press really well. You can do that with the iron again, but I'm too lazy, so I'm just gonna do it by hand. And then fold it toward the middle, press a line toward the middle again, press, and then with those lines, you just use them as a guide and just make your pleat. I just eyeball it. The width of this is about like 3¼ inches, and you just clip it. Clip all your pleats. Okay, I'm not gonna do all of them right now. So, and then same thing with the other mask, when we just stitch it up right here, stitch it up right here. Okay. Finish stitching both sides for the regular pleated mask, and it looks like this. And earlier I think I told you the measurement wrong. For this one, it's gonna be a little wider, so it's about like a 3½, not 3 inches or 3¼ but like about 3½ inches tall. It's gonna be a little wider than the other one, if you can see in comparison, because this one has a nose scar, this one doesn't. So that's why this one's gonna be a little wider, because the nose scar right now is hidden behind this panel. Okay, so we're gonna be stitching up this one now. This is how the back look like. So the panel is like folded down and up, and we clip them to secure this position, and we just stitch it up like one line along the edge. I have my little fork standing by just in case it needs a little help going through the machine. Okay, and the seam allowance is right here is 1/4 inch. See, right now it needs a little help. And I just push it through the back stitch. This machine usually can handle multiple layers pretty well. So stitch up on the side. Okay, so we'll do the other side. I have both masks stitched up on the edges, so you probably can tell from the front which one is which. So this is the one with the nose guard. The back looks like this. Remember, we fold this little panel like that and we stitch it up with all the pleats. And this one is just your regular pleated mask. So they look very similar at the front, and the size ended up being about 3½ inches tall. This one might be a little taller than this one, but it's okay, it will work. So it looks like this. When you open it up, you see the nose guard on the top. So we have one more step before we do the ties. So usually when you see the pleated mask, usually stops right here, but I found out if you take time to do another step, it will make this mask fit so much better, which is adding 2 darts in the middle of the top and the middle, like right down here, the chin area. So to do that, you fold the mask front side to front side, fold it in half. You want to make sure it's really right in the middle. You don't want it to be off. Otherwise, it will feel weird when you wear it later. So with your fabric marker, if you just want to directly go to the machine without marking it first, you can do it. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can with your marker. You just draw a line here. You see? Have this little triangle. Same thing at the bottom. Make sure it's really in the middle. You just draw a line like up, like this. And on your machine, you just stitch this line and stitch this line. And that's your dart. You really won't feel it. Yeah, you'll have this little fabric hanging here after you're done, but you really don't feel it against your nose or your chin, so it's not uncomfortable to have that on the back side of the mask. So let me just do this really quick on the machine. Okay, make sure it's right in the middle. Okay, we just did the nose dart. And then do the chin one. Turn. See it here. So it looks like this. You see, it looks like this at the front. It's the top and bottom. You fold the mask in half, the profile, it looks like this. So this little dart will help the mask hang on to your nose so it won't want to slide down as easily. And this chin dart will help the mask hug around your chin so much better. Okay? With the one, you probably don't, with the nose guard, but you probably don't need it for the nose part because this panel is already hanging. When you look at the profile, when you fold it in half, it already has this angle, so you probably don't need another dart for it. But for me, I don't have a lot of nose bridge, so adding a dart will help it the mask to stay on my face so much better. So for this one, you can bypass the nose dart but still do one for your chin. Okay, so then we'll move on to the final step after final step, which is threading the elastic through these little tabs. So I like using this elastic I got like a few days ago. I've been really happy with it. It's basically a little tiny rope shaped elastic, which is 5/32 in width. So they're pretty thin and stretchy and really soft, so it's pretty comfortable around the ear. I've wear a mask with this as ear loop a whole day yesterday, and I felt fine. So this is good. You know, if you watch my video before, I like to tie slip knots for all of my ear loops because I just like to have the flexibility of having the ear loops being adjustable in length. So I cut this elastic at 8 inches long, but you might want to experiment with your elastic. It might need to be a little longer or shorter, but I cut mine at 8 inches, which works fine for me. So you need a hair clip and just kind of elastic through the hair clip. and then go through one of the loop. Which side you're going from, this side, doesn't matter. So, and I will include a link to the graphic of how to tie a slip knot in the video description. So this is how I do it with the short end on the bottom. I'll tie the knot. You grab it and you kind of make a loop like this and thread the end of elastic, wrap it around this two line and go through this loop once and then twice, and you tie it and make the first knot like this, and you can grab onto this knot to make it move. Knot. And if you look at the graphic, it will make better sense. It might be a little confusing watching me doing this right now. So let's move on to this side. So away a little bit. Twice. And then just pull. And then you have your adjustable ear loop like this. Just pull on, hold on to the knot, and you just pull it to make it longer or shorter. And if you're worrying about this end, what I usually do is I apply Fray Check. You can't see the logo anymore, but I would just apply just a little bit. That will stop the end from fraying later. So you just apply it to all the ends and just let it dry for 15 or 20 minutes and you're good to go. And I've washed them in the washing machine using regular cycle, and they're fine. They didn't fray at all. So get the Fray Check for the elastic. Okay, so I've done the same thing for the other mask, which is your regular pleated mask. It looks like these, and this is the one with the nose guard. It looks like these. It just depends on which one you prefer. I'm gonna try and see how they work for you. Okay, thank you, and don't shut the video yet. I am gonna show a little bonus clip after this. Okay, so here's the bonus clip or tip, and maybe a lot of you already know about this, but I have just recently learned about this trick. So see this spool right here? It's actually thread for serger, and it has 3,000 yards of 100% polyester thread and retail for like $3.49 full price. It's so much cheaper than buying this regular smaller spool. This one is 300 yards, I think. I forgot the exact price, but maybe I want to say at least $3.99. So actually this little guy costs more than this big guy. That's 10 times, it has 10 times more thread. So, but you won't actually work with the thread holder. And what I've done is I put a regular spool here and then just put this big guy on top of it, and it will work. See? And it's sewing just fine. So you might want to give this a try next time and save a lot of money. And that's even just retail price, and I know there's some website online, if you just Google, you can buy it even a lot cheaper than $3.49. Okay, so it's today's tip, and thanks for watching. Hope you give both masks a try and let me know if you like them, and stay well. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.